Greetings, Sanctuary family. I'm Stephen Marlette. My goal in speaking to you today is to encourage or inspire those who feel like God is talking to you, asking you to take this ministry, this message, beyond the four walls of this church. A brief story about myself. I currently work at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. I train teachers. I work with a wonderful population of people who make it their job to make the world better by inspiring and teaching our future generations. These are kids. And I wrestled for a long time about whether or not working on a campus like SIUE, it's not a Bible school. How is this your will, God? How am I helping your kingdom? And in the process of that, I ran across some scriptures and God really spoke to me. And I want to share with you a story. It's found in 1 Kings chapter 17 and 18. It's a story about Elijah and Obadiah. Mind you, Elijah, the recognized prophet of God, Elijah confronted the evil king Ahab. Elijah called down fire from the skies. Elijah was fed by the ravens. All these miracles were and wonders and moves of God surrounded the story of Elijah. But yet I never felt like I was an Elijah on my campus. And then I ran across an unsung hero, Obadiah. Obadiah had a job in the king's palace. Jezebel and Ahab were an evil and corrupt administration. But they had as one of his lead officers this man called Obadiah, who was in charge of the entire palace. And among other things, one of the things Obadiah was able to do was there were some, they called them prophets of God. And I'm not sure exactly what that meant. It could be a community of believers. But he was able to hide them away into caves, 50 in one cave, 50 in another. And he used his position, his resources, his influence to really accomplish what God wanted to accomplish at that time. So if you're interested in ministry, and I'm defining ministry as a person or thing through which something is accomplished, and I want to be on God's team. I want to accomplish something for God. And the story of Elijah and Obadiah tells us two things. Through Elijah, very important role. Through his ministry, the evil, corrupt kingdom toppled. But through Obadiah's ministry, here we have the preservation of a community of worshipers, so that when that regime toppled, there were people able to fill those roles, and the worship of our one true God could continue. So what am I saying, Brother Marlette? I'm saying two things. Matthew 5 challenges us to be salt and light of the world. We need people to be college professors like myself, to be lawyers, to be doctors. Yes, to fulfill the roles in the church itself. Thank God for a Brother Bland and for a Caleb Saucer and for Sunitha. But we also need people that are going to go and do the work outside the building, to be the Obadiahs, to be able to put things in place and to support ministries. The second thing I want to take away from this story is this idea of discretion. In 1 Chronicles, the 12th chapter, David was assuming his role as king, and he surrounded himself with men. And one group of men, they talked about men who understood the times. It's important when you're working in ministry outside the walls of the church that you understand your place and your position. Obadiah was able to do what he did because he had discretion. And I'm sure God will give you the wisdom and in whatever path he leads you. So I want to conclude today by sharing a song from the 90s, Stephen Curtis Chapman. It's called The Great Adventure. And the chorus of the song says, "Saddle up your horses. We've got a trail to blaze." And that's exactly how I feel. So join me, and I'm excited to see what God's going to do this remaining years in the sanctuary and in North County. God bless.